Downs, how do you feel about that? Do you feel like you belong here on this team?
Obviously, I think overall as a player, I feel like I put in the work. I feel like everything I do, I try to do it to my best, and that's all I ask for. So
when it comes to the 3s and 4s that you're playing with that aren't going to be on the squad and not going to make the team, give your quarterback a chance. Okay, you know what? You know they can't hold up that long. Let's play quick game. Let's play quick game just to get Shedeur in the goddamn rhythm. But no, you come out calling regular offensive plays that are very long.
When they're at practice, Shedeur Sanders is not their priority. When he is at practice, he was staying hours beforehand, leaving hours later.
Last night, Shedeur Sanders faltered in a way that caught everyone off guard. Post-game, the toll was evident on his face, heartbroken, frustrated, and grappling with self-doubt in a way he'd never shown before. Kevin Stefanski's unrelenting pressure seemed to turn the Browns' rising star into an unexpected target of scrutiny, chipping away at the confidence that had long been his foundation. In a raw, emotional moment, Shedeur opened up, shouldering full responsibility for his performance with the poise of a veteran, yet the strain was palpable. Beneath his words, you could sense the heavy burden of the moment weighing on him. He acknowledged his place in the locker room, reaffirming his commitment to grinding through the adversity, but it's unmistakable that Stefanski's approach has left a mark, dimming a piece of the vibrant spirit that defines Shedeur's game.
I think with all of our players, Mary Kay, there's things that we can do better, and there's some good moments out there, but that's what our job as coaches, to develop our guys.
Kevin Stefanski stood firm in his stance, insisting that his players were executing well and placing the blame squarely on Shedeur Sanders for his missteps. When pressed about whether Shedeur's week-long practice with the third and fourth team players might have contributed to his struggles, Stefanski was unyielding, refusing to entertain the possibility. Rather than admitting that first-team reps could have better prepared Shedeur, he brushed off the suggestion with a curt dismissal. He reiterated that his role as a coach is to develop rookies, but one has to question, is this truly the way to nurture a promising talent? Denying Shedeur even a single opportunity to practice with the first-team offense, and then thrusting him into a high-pressure situation, expecting him to execute unfamiliar plays, seems like a recipe for failure. To make matters worse, Stefanski's approach turned Shedeur into the game's punchline, exposing him to scrutiny in front of a global audience. The events that unfolded make it increasingly apparent that Shedeur was set up for disaster from the outset, with little chance to succeed under such stacked odds. Stephen A. Smith's bold statement before Shedeur's first preseason start rings truer now than ever. He warned that the Browns were orchestrating a setup to see Shedeur Sanders fail, and looking at how the situation has played out, it's hard to dispute his take. From the lack of meaningful first-team reps to the questionable play calling that seemed ill-suited to his strengths, the entire scenario feels deliberately engineered to undermine him, fueling a growing narrative that Shedeur was never given a fair shot to shine.
But I'm going to answer this question by saying Shedeur Sanders. And I'm going to tell you why. I think he's being set up to fail.
Skip Bayless didn't hold back in his scathing critique of the Cleveland Browns' treatment of Shedeur Sanders, labeling their approach as utterly deplorable and the worst possible way to handle a promising rookie. He highlighted a troubling pattern of consistent mismanagement by Kevin Stefanski and the Browns' coaching staff, arguing that this wasn't a one-off error, but a deliberate series of decisions that have undermined Shedeur at every turn. Bayless emphasized that Shedeur has been deprived of the opportunities and support necessary to thrive, from limited first-team reps to being placed in situations with inadequate offensive support, like playing behind third and fourth stringers. This mishandling, according to Bayless, has piled on unnecessary pressure, making it exponentially harder for Shedeur to showcase his potential and succeed in the NFL's unforgiving environment.
I'm outraged, I'm sickened, and I'm saddened. By the way, Shedeur continues to be treated in the National Football League now by those sorry-ass Browns and sorry-ass Kevin Stefanski.
Despite all the challenges and scrutiny he faced, Shedeur Sanders never once pointed fingers at his coach or anyone else in the Cleveland Browns organization. Instead, he displayed remarkable accountability, taking full ownership of his performance and zeroing in on what he can directly influence. Shedeur openly admitted that he has numerous areas to improve, emphasizing his unwavering commitment to putting in the hard work needed to elevate his game. His mindset was entirely focused on personal growth and learning from the tough preseason experience, refusing to let setbacks define his journey or dampen his drive. Like a seasoned NFL veteran, Shedeur fully embraced his mistakes, acknowledging that he could have better positioned his eyes during his runs and made sharper decisions to keep the offense on track. He didn't dodge accountability, taking responsibility for every sack, firmly stating that those moments fell squarely on him. His response was not only mature but also profoundly self-aware, showcasing a deep understanding of the game and a readiness to grow from adversity, positioning him as a player poised for future success.
No, I gotta watch the film, honestly. I can't say what it was. It's definitely a different place where I could got my eyes in better spots and got to the progressions quicker and regardless of anything, so all those sacks, they definitely on me.
Analysts, however, see the situation through a different lens than Shedeur Sanders, pointing the finger not at the young quarterback, but at Kevin Stefanski and his handling of the situation. Chad Ochocinco Johnson was vocal, arguing that by placing Shedeur in a lineup surrounded by offensive players, unlikely to even make the final roster, Stefanski orchestrated a scenario where failure was almost inevitable. Ochocinco made a striking claim, asserting that even a quarterback of Tom Brady's caliber would have struggled in the same position, given the lack of adequate support from such a patchwork offensive unit. With those players around him, Shedeur was set up to falter, no matter his skill or effort. Analysts widely agree, placing the blame squarely on the coaching staff for failing to provide Shedeur with a fair opportunity to succeed. Ochocinco also issued a sharp warning, predicting that detractors will soon emerge, labeling Shedeur Sanders a bust and dismissing him as nothing more than a fifth-string quarterback. Yet he stressed that these critics will conveniently ignore the root issue: the coaching decisions that place Shedeur in such an untenable position from the start. Despite the mounting criticism, Ochocinco underscored that this feels like a deliberate narrative to undermine Shedeur's potential. Regardless of the outcome, it's clear that some are more focused on tearing him down than acknowledging the systemic circumstances that have shaped his challenging preseason performance.
The nuances.
Listen, we see it. We see it clear as day. But they just on it, oh, he played bad. He's ass. He sucked. He's a fifth rounder. He's not that good. Well, of course, yes, based on what you saw today. But we're trying to tell you why it looked that way.
Chad Ochocinco Johnson voiced deep concern about the unfolding situation, expressing worry about Shedeur Sanders' future, particularly if he ends up on another team. He noted that the Sanders name alone carries an immense spotlight, drawing intense scrutiny and attention even if Shedeur isn't the starting quarterback. This heightened visibility could create a challenging environment, as teams might struggle to navigate the added pressure and distractions tied to his high-profile status. Ochocinco fears this dynamic could place Shedeur in a precarious position, making it tougher for him to flourish in a new system that may not be equipped to handle the baggage of his fame. Yet, despite these external pressures, Shedeur has displayed remarkable maturity and resilience in the face of his struggles. He's taken full accountability for his on-field performance, candidly acknowledging areas for improvement without casting blame on his coaches or teammates. His response reflects a character of strength and professionalism, accepting responsibility for his mistakes with a level-headedness that stands out for a rookie. However, the reality is that Shedeur's struggles were set in motion long before he stepped onto the field. It's increasingly clear that Kevin Stefanski's questionable decisions, such as limiting Shedeur to reps with third and fourth string players unlikely to make the roster, placed him in an impossible situation. By denying him meaningful practice time with the first team offense and thrusting him into a game with inadequate support, Stefanski effectively engineered a scenario where failure was almost inevitable. As analysts like Ochocinco have emphasized, the system around Shedeur was fundamentally flawed, and the responsibility for that falls squarely on Stefanski's shoulders. The Browns' treatment of Shedeur has not only been unfair, but has also hindered his development, robbing him of the preparation needed to succeed. Now, with mounting criticism and the weight of his high-profile name amplifying every misstep, the road ahead is undeniably tougher. With the intense scrutiny that comes with the Sanders name, Shedeur will face both external expectations and internal challenges, no matter which which team he plays for. Yet his commitment to growth, relentless work ethic, and determination to prove his doubters wrong suggest he's ready to tackle these obstacles. The path forward may be steep, but Shedeur's heart and mentality shine through, signaling his potential to overcome adversity and carve out his place in the NFL. What do you think, though? Was Shedeur Sanders genuinely set up for failure by the Browns' coaching decisions, or did he simply falter in moments he needs to own? Should Stefanski have provided more first-team reps to give him a fair shot, or was it a case of Shedeur failing to capitalize when given the opportunity? How do you view the media and analysts' portrayal of this situation? Is Shedeur being unfairly targeted as a scapegoat, or is there some validity to the criticism? Most crucially, can Shedeur bounce back from this challenging start, or has the damage already taken too deep a toll? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We're eager to hear your take on this unfolding drama.